Welcome back to Iron Rage, brought to you by Species Nutrition. And you know what? I'm Dave Palumbo, and I have my co-host on the line, John Romano. I think he's in Mexico. We're not really sure. Where are you living these days?
Mexico.
Oh, you are in Mexico. John, You know, one of the most common questions that I get on a daily basis, and I'm not saying weekly, daily basis, is how to use Synthol. Should I use Synthol? Is Phil Heath using Synthol? You know these questions come in at a rampant pace, and my answer to everyone is a lot of guys use Synthol. You just don't know it on the guys that look good, and on the guys that look horrendous, it's completely obvious. We see that picture Johnny could put up on the screen from the Vancouver show from this past weekend up in Canada. One of the competitors just, I don't even know what he was looking at in the mirror, what this guy did to himself. You saw the picture, John. I mean, how do you even describe what you're seeing here? It's crazy.
It looks like he shot some of the Synthol in his gut too.
Put the bloated abdomen aside. Why would someone get on stage with shoulders that look like that? I just don't get it.
I tend to wonder if these guys ever, they get so caught up in their competition that they create monsters. Valentino is a great example. Remember, we've asked Greg, well, when your arms got to 18 or 20, why didn't you stop? How come you went to 27?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, where do you draw the line? Like every day I'm getting.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point, you look in the mirror and you got to say, that doesn't look good. It looks terrible.
My shoulder's pointy. Maybe this means something.
Yeah.
But like you said before, guys have used it. I mean, the top of the line of the Olympia has been flooded with. I don't want to name names, but Flex Wheeler has been very open about how much Synthol he used, in his competitive days.
And it looked good.
And other guys too. If it's done right, like you said, if it's done right. The injection's really deep in the muscle, and it's done correctly. It looks good, but there's an epidemic of this shit though that goes well beyond the stage, especially here in Latin America. Brazil is the capital of this. These guys shoot in gallons of oil, and create the
keyword being oil.
What?
Keyword being oil. It's not even Synthol anymore. It's just literal oil they're using, right? Motor oil.
Because so much. I mean, they liters they put in. There's one guy down here. He's got boobs like freaking that. And the ridiculous thing is they don't look like pecs. They look like tits.
Yeah.
And he's on the beach, moving them around and shit like that. And he's got this giant freaking arm like this, like Valentino, and it goes down to this little stick forearm.
Yeah, but people look it's body dysmorphia, I have to believe, because people actually look in the mirror and they think it looks good. Because why in your wildest imaginations would you get up onto a bodybuilding stage looking like that? You have to have some kind of dysmorphia going on, right?
Well, you got to be a little nuts to be a bodybuilder anyway, to begin with, to diet and get on stage. You got to have a screw loose in the first place. Some of us have more screws loose than others, and when it comes to body dysmorphic issues, people become blind by it. I mean, they don't even see it. They have this, it's like anorexia. When they see a fat person, when a douchebag like this looks into the mirror, he sees a scarecrow. I don't know what he sees, but then he figures, well, let me pump up some oil in there. And even though it may not have an aesthetic look to it, at least he in his eyes sees that it's bigger.
Right.
So big is good, small is not. Forget what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it's bigger.
Now, let's assume that the guy has seen these videos and pictures all over the place, and he's ready to kill himself, obviously, because he realizes that he looks like the laughing stock. All right.
Right.
Let's say he can massage out the oil and he can get it out of there, and his shoulders will go back to normal. If he allows that to happen, because he might not even allow that to happen. How does he ever get back on the stage again after that? I mean, he's been basically outed as the Michelin man, that he's got like a stigma written all over him. He's got the Valentino stigma. Let's put it that way. Can he ever recoup from that and get back on a bodybuilding stage legitimately?
No, you can massage all you want. You're not going to break up the necrosis and get the scar tissue out of there. Yeah. I mean, you think Valentino hasn't injected oil in his arms in 25 years? You think they're the size they are now because it's all scar tissue.
Right.
So he's ruined himself. He's not that he was a collector's item to begin with, obviously.
But you know what? He doesn't have a bad physique. I mean, if he would have had the normal shoulders, it's not terrible.
What's that pumpkin he's got above his posing trunks, under his chest? He looks terrible. He's got his giant, distended, bloated, giant gut abdomen. Who knows what his legs don't look like? I don't know. I don't think he's good at all.
Well, you know what? These people tend to capture the one picture where the guy's in a very awkward position. I saw a couple other pictures of him. His physique isn't terrible. He just destroyed those shoulders. I mean, they just look ridiculous. And I'm thinking about, like, when he took the last shot before the show, he probably was like, you know what, I need 10 more cc's. Let me put them in here. You know, what did his arms look like before the last shot he did? That's what I want to know, you know?
Probably not much different than they look now. He's probably keeping up, you know, a good regimen of, you know, every 3-day injections. I don't know, but the thing is that when you got to look at this, synthol is a tool. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a tool, but it's got to be used correctly. You know, I mean, if you can go in there and augment a body part, a lagging body part, or fill in a divot from a you know, an injury or whatever, anything that you could think of doing synthol on, but aesthetically is the key. You can't have that jaundiced eye of the dysmorphic and just keep jamming shit in there until it grows and doesn't matter what it looks like. But if you can actually augment the muscle in a way that it looks, you know, pleasing, then, you know, synthol definitely has a place. Yeah. But this guy's clearly clueless.
Well, Johnny just has a picture up on the screen now of the guy before he put the synthol in his arms. I mean, he might still have a little bit in there, but this shot looks good. He actually has a good physique, and I don't see why he went that one step more. I don't know if he got I would have said it was an infection if it had been in one arm, but it's in both arms, so I definitely know he overdid it. And, you know, people get carried away with stuff. It's a shame. You know, I sell Chris Clark's synthesized pump and pose, which is the original brand of synthol. Chris Clark is the guy who developed it. I'm the exclusive distributor of it. And I also sell...
We had him on the show.
Yeah, and I also sell the Steve DeLuca's painless pumps. And, you know, those two are probably the only legitimate brands of synthol that I would recommend that anyone uses. And that's why I sell those two on DavePalumbo.com. What I tell people is I'll give you an injection protocol if you ask me, so that you don't do anything stupid and make it look ridiculous, because there is a right way to do it and a wrong way, just like there are good artists and there are bad artists. There are women who go to the plastic surgeon and they get their lips injected, and some of them look good. They got nice plump lips and they look, you know, maybe a little over the top, but they're still in the realm of natural. And then there are other women who go to the plastic surgeon and they come out of there and they look like a freaking duck and they look ridiculous. And you know who they are. Some of them are in Hollywood, and you're like, what the hell were they thinking? Look at these ridiculous lips. I think people just get blinded, John, by what they want or perceive in the mirror as being look good and what doesn't look good.
I went through it with my wife with the lips. You know,
really?
she had them done that were perfect, and then she goes into this, you know, open house like Botox party or whatever with her friend, and they buy fillers and shit, you know, that they use, you know, for later on because they get a good deal on because it's a big, you know, group buy. And I went with her to the esthetician where you go get it put in, and the girl tells her, you can't put anything in there. These are perfect. What are you going to do?
Right.
And then she talked her out of it, which is, thank God there's technicians that will do that. You know, others, you know, like, and it's like these guys, the point I'm trying to make here is you have to employ that kind of aesthetic eye when you do this stuff, because you're going to go overboard, whether it's lips, tits, biceps, pecs, whatever. You can go overboard, and the trick is to do it so that it's not obtrusive. The big thing down here now in Mexico is the big fake ass. Johnny will tell you. Right. Okay, all these girls have these big fake asses, whether it's fat transfers, silicone implants, oil, direct oil, whatever. But the funny thing is, there's some girls that have it done a little, and it looks amazing. It's got a nice, high, round, beautiful booty, okay? And because she works out, she's got leg muscles, she's got upper body strength, it all goes together. It's pleasing. Then there's these other retards. They have zero muscle. They have these little tiny, stick legs, like the thing in my glasses. And then on top, you got this big, giant ass sticking out. And to the side, it comes to a point. It looks like this.
It looks like that guy's shoulders.
A point.
Yeah.
And the only way that thing looks at all pleasing is bent over. That's it. But they walk around, they're all over the place. You go to my gym, you see 10, 12 of them at any given time. It looks ridiculous. But they all do it.
John, I remember talking to Greg Valentino back in the day when he was injecting the synthol into his arms, and he was outwardly telling everyone he wasn't doing synthol, he was doing 10cc bottles of test propionate every day.
Test propionate.
Yeah, and his arms got so big that he ran out of places, so he started doing his shoulders. And I remember I ran into him at Bob Bonham's gym, and he was, and I said, Greg, you something looks different about you. You have no neck. He's like, yeah, I ran out of places. I'm doing my traps now. He was injecting a 10cc bottle of test propionate into each trap every single day. His traps were connected to his ears, basically. It was the craziest thing. Remember?
But yes, but the most aggravating thing about our friend Greg is that before any synthol or any site injecting, he had an amazing physique.
Yeah, he did.
He did. He had a legit, real, honest-to-God bodybuilder physique with nothing wrong with it. Zero. Right. Nothing wrong. But what got into his head, Lord only knows. But he took it another way.
Johnny's got another guy up on the screen. These guys don't even have the oil in the muscle. It's like under the skin. It's like literally like a breast implant in their bicep, in their pecs, in their traps, and in their triceps. Literally.
Yep. And they're
better off getting a breast
implant. But they're dead serious. It's muscle. You hear them interviewed on the Mexican news stations, and they're talking about their workouts and how you hold the dumbbell, and and it's bullshit. And everybody takes them seriously, and they're give them all these accolades and show them off and everything. It's a fucking freak show. Well, it's the most ridiculous thing you have ever seen. Between them and the big fake asses, Latin America was like a freaking circus.
Well, those people are just doing it for the attention. They're doing it because they want the celebrity status. You'll never see those guys get up on a bodybuilding stage and try to compete, for their pro card. I think they understand it. It's more, hey, it's like I'm showboating, I'm peacocking, whatever you want to call it. I want attention. Please show. It's like the girl that gets the 1,000cc breast implants because she just wants people to pay attention to her. And when she walks in the mall, she wants people to oogle her and look at her. And it's an attention-seeking thing. The only problem with injecting all that oil into your body is, number one, who the hell knows what the health ramifications are? Number two, you're stuck. Like you said, once the scar tissue lays down, that's going to look like that the rest of your life. Ask Valentino if he's happy about the way his arms look right now. He'll tell you, man, I fucked up. And you know what? Yes. Guys, if you want to know the right way to do it, feel free to email me at huge285@AOL.com. I will send you a very smart protocol to use. There's no reason anyone should ever get on a bodybuilding stage looking that ridiculous. Even this girl in the video Johnny's showing, she's showing the big butt girl with the huge booty. Look, she's not getting on a bikini stage, trying to win a bikini show. She's just like wants to walk through town and get people to stare at her. And you know what? In that sense,
it's the war of the narcos. They got to try to outdo each other. so it's like get the girl to get the big fake ass, and then the next narco goes, my girl's got to have a bigger one.
Maybe if we line up all those big booties along the border, Donald Trump won't have to build a wall. Well, John,
but look, I don't want to turn this into a bash fest against synthol because it has its place, and like I said before, it's a tool, and you can either abuse it and fuck it up, or you can use it correctly. And if you use it right, no one will even know.
No.
I defy any of the listeners out there to tell me who they think on the Olympia stage is using synthol. And if they got the truth, they would never believe.
Probably almost everyone, I would say.
I would say 8 out of 10.
So 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10 are definitely using some type of site enhancement, whether it be the actual steroids they're injecting into the muscle, whether it be synthol or Nalotl. they're using something to enhance the roundness of their arms and shoulders, and usually calves as well. I know for a fact, I know a lot of people's wives who buy the stuff from my site who are pros. I would never mention names, but believe me, they're using it, but you don't know it because they're using it the right way, and that's what that's what this is about. We're not here to bash. I feel bad for the guy whose picture's all over the place because you know what? They made him into a pariah. He's being ridiculed. He works his ass off probably in the gym. He eats right. He dedicates his life to bodybuilding, and now he's become the laughing stock. You know what? If he wants to contact me, if he's watching this, I'll be happy to help him try to work, some of that stuff out of his shoulders and give him some ideas about how he can fix what he did. And, he was a good bodybuilder before that. I saw the pictures. So, once again, I feel bad for the guy. But at the same time, it's your and my job on Iron Rage to point out the outrageous of the outrageous in the bodybuilding industry.
Yeah, I feel sorry. I don't mean to talk bad about the guy either. It's just because he made himself a pariah. Yeah. It's one thing. Most people do make themselves pariahs. No one really.
You and me
does
included.
that for.
Yeah.
No one does that for you. But look, he chose his own path. Whether he didn't see it because he's jaundiced from dysmorphia or blinded by the real dysmorphic symptoms like anorexia, reverse anorexia, who knows? But what this guy did is should be a message to these other guys contemplating this. Look, if you're going to take this route, contact Dave, me, whoever, figure out how to do it the right way. And then that way, you at least save face. You may not be the best bodybuilder in the world, but at least you get away with it.
John, I want to ask you a question before we go. As you know, RX Muscle broke the exclusive Kevin Levrone 9.5 weeks out pictures on the show earlier on the Muscle News Update a little earlier this afternoon. A lot of people want to know your opinion on what you think Kevin looks like and how he will do at the Olympia.
Well, just like you, Kevin and I are in contact quite a bit. I have a opportunity for him to stay down here and spend the last 8 weeks of his prep in my gym, and we're talking about that. So he's look, he looks outrageous. I've seen a couple of photos too. I think his arms and shoulders look every bit as good as they did in the 90s, maybe better. He's got 9.5 weeks now. He could probably put on 10, 15, 12, 10, 12, 15 pounds more, maybe more. He's a retarded hyper responder. I cannot believe how this guy responds to whatever he puts himself through. But it's an amazing transformation, and I think he's going to keep getting better. I am blown away by the way he looks now at 51 years old?
52.
Okay, absolutely amazing. And I am sticking to my guns. This is what I predict. He is going to be an upset in the Olympia this year because people may be worried about his legs because we haven't seen pictures of his legs yet, but Levrone was not known for bad legs back in the day.
No.
So I will reserve my opinion to coincide with my past opinion. I believe Levrone is coming in gangbusters. He's on fire. He means business, and I feel sorry for some of these youngins that he's going up against because he's going to destroy him. Remember, Dexter took second in the Olympia last year, and Kevin beat Dexter every single time he's ever gone against him.
Except the last two times. But I also want to thank you for your that little hacker guy you gave me who intercepted the text message that Kevin was sending to Steve Bleckman. We got the pictures instead, and we were able to exclusively put those pictures up on RX Muscle. Thank you very much, John. That's another nail in the head of Steve Bleckman that you've sent out.
There's got to be like a paramedic outside of the building now, over there.
And it doesn't get better than that. So on that note, we're going to say la vie. Remember, use Synthol responsibly. Feel free to contact me if you want. I'm Dave Palumbo with John Romano. We'll see you next time for Iron Rage.